They could try. I guess Ursa's always an option, but that was banned actually. All the safe ones are banned. Maybe you could go for illusion-based heroes. A
Try
PL
Slark?
might be able to slip in and out. A Slark is nice because you can build up your stacks in the Underlord, but you also don't enjoy being rooted up, although you can purge off. So there is a back and forth there if they want something like the Slark. It has been up and down in performance, so that Slark pickup. So
Ooh,
I don't know. They go with Gyrocopter, so they
how
go
could we
back.
forget?
Yeah, it's great. It's ranged, as you mentioned. You can stand back, just farm up. So going back into this gyro, second time we've seen it today. Of course, first time we saw it from HFN. Worked out well. Let's see if DNM can replicate that performance, get his farm up fast, and, kind of force that momentum early for his team with that pickup.
Do you think Gyro is coming back in the meta, John? Is that what's happening? Like, because I've got to admit, the last time we saw Gyrocopter, which was today, it didn't really look too weak. That was HFN playing it, but it looked quite dominant. In fact, I did see a tweet from our boy Clairvoyance, John. He is predicting that Gyrocopter is going to be massive in the major. And I was curious, I've been meaning to ask you this whole time, what do you think? Because I don't know, it is feeling like Gyrocopter is making a very slow comeback into the meta.
I think it's got room in the meta. It's a solid one to have. You can play fast with it, but you can also fall back and take it a bit slow if you need to. I don't know if it's like the top carry, but it feels like the carry pool right now is fairly saturated. It's fairly condensed.
Right.
And a lot of times you see a lot of those cores ban out, like you see from SG Esports here. So I think Gyrocopter slides in that sense. I don't know if it's like first straight up best carry right now. I wouldn't say so.
No.
But it does have good timing, so you have to draft around it. And you have to be able to maximize stacks. Like the ideal for a Gyro is something like the Kotl. Like we saw that from HFN's game, right? They built up massive stacks in triangle and in the bot jungle. HFN cleared it out because they had a keeper that could easily stack multiple camps. So you kind of want that efficiency to play in for the Gyrocopter, and you don't necessarily have that for 5ManMidas. I mean, Enchantress can kind of stack efficiently like that, but it's not as straightforward compared to the keeper. So it really just depends on how much you can maximize your jungle.
Okay.
And if you can get good control, you can build up there, but your draft has to enable the Gyrocopter.
I mean, I think we can both agree on that. It's still one of those heroes that needs the support, needs the help to really be a powerhouse. See what 5ManMidas can do with it. They do need one more pickup right now, and one problem I'm really seeing with this 5ManMidas draft is their only form of control right now is the Pango. So once Rolling Thunder is gone, there's nothing else to control anyone else up. You are purely trying to dominate lanes with this draft so far, and they do end up going for the Leshrac now, so it is a very kind of mid-game orientated draft. And it is very powerful, for sure in the mid-game. They could definitely run over SG Esports. But then again, it's SG Esports, and that last game looked a bit too easy. So I can't say I have 100% faith, even if the draft is looking okay.
Yeah, this closeout of Leshrac puts a bit of a spanner in the works for SG Esports. They have to consider where the Leshrac goes. It could be mid. They flex a Void Spirit to support, or off lane. They could flex a Pangolier, run Void Spirit Leshrac chorus on mid and off lane as well. So it's open-ended here for 5ManMidas, but SG Esports as well can kind of flex that Monkey King still. Drag it down safe instead, get something else mid to deal with the Leshrac here, which I think is ideal. We've seen off-lane Leshrac be okay. We haven't seen support Leshrac. That is a bit less common. And I think if you're expecting the mid Lesh to come out still, then you just drag the Monkey King elsewhere, and that fixes your issue. So SG Esports can still pull that off, digging deep into reserve time though. And I guess that's one way 5ManMidas can kind of put themselves up, just confusing them. In SG Esports, you go with Morphling.
Of course.
So there's still that opportunity to switch around, but it is going to Costabila here. And 4DR is taking the Monkey King. So if we do have the mid Monkey, safe lane Morph, very strong combinations coming out. And of course, Morphling into Gyrocopter. Just turn into Gyrocopter, take Flak Cannon, turn back to your form, and hit like a madman. It's one of the reasons why Gyrocopter is sometimes a hard pick. You tend to forget that does come out, and it can be very hard to deal with. It does look like 5ManMidas are going with Lies in the Gyro, so it looks like they might switch DNM back to mid, which means possibly mid Void Spirit here still, and an off-lane Leshrac in the end. No, they're
Okay.
running the... Okay, DNM Leshrac mid to deal with 4DR, and the support Void Spirit coming out. So
Right.
let's see if they can pull it off. This is a very... It's
Looks
one
like
of those things where you close out flex, right? And it looks a bit messy.
Looks
So
very
you have
messy.
to play this perfect. You have to execute perfectly here, and it can be tough. As you mentioned, their lockdown is not reliable. Like, what's their most instantaneous lockdown? The
Roll.
homing missile, it's probably one. Rolls there, homing missile, it's probably their most, but it's also delayed. And you have the remnant, I guess, if you land it, but you have no setup. So 5ManMidas have to execute well, build off, and try to push fast with the Leshrac on DNM. SG Esports can take all the time in the world. They've got a Morphling to fall back to. They've got 4DR to stand in front in the mid game. Tavo is going to be very hard to kill off as well, considering how tanky Underlord is. And you also have the Abaddon to add on to that durability. So a lot going here for SG Esports. 5ManMidas still looking for their first win in a very long time. We'll see if this is the draft that gets them that win.
We will find out very soon. Are we both in agreement that 5ManMidas does not have the better draft, though? In comparison to SG
No,
Esports, who definitely looks a lot stronger right now with this draft.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. It's one of those things when you close out flex like that, you can really throw your entire draft off, right? Like we've seen this before with teams. Remember when Venge was flex as off lane, safe lane, and support, and you close out with Vengeance, only all your lanes are messed up. It's kind of like that, and it's the same thing with this last pick Lesh. So now you have a roaming pause for Void Spirit, which can work, but the initial laning, like what do you expect from Void Spirit Pangolier? That's a awkward lane to kind of deal with, or at least make work. 2 melees up against Morphling. Costabile is not going to be under major threats of being harassed out, so you should find some safe farm. They just need to hit these EXP spikes on 5ManMidas, but you have such greedy heroes, like on your supports and on your cores. All of them want to hit 6 at a fairly fast point, except for Borko. And there might not be enough map to get that EXP flowing here.
Perhaps not. They certainly need a good start, that's for sure. PSG Esports already roaming around in that bot side jungle, getting some sentry wards down of all things. Nothing, I don't really see a reason for that sentry. It looks like he just wanted to double check and see if there was an observer ward placed already.
That's the block. Just
Has he
making
blocked?
sure no safe lane
Oh,
pulls.
he has blocked.
Right on the edge. So no pulls coming out, and that does mean the large camp is open for them to just pull. Of course, you always run the risk of Enchantress going for Enchant and taking a big creep anyway, but I don't think it's a major issue when you have such tanky offlaners. And it does start out as even on the bounties. Should see a bit of an early tri-lane start here from SG, and we have seen a few teams do this. Not quite recently, but it looks like they might line up for some early harassment on Borko.
Oh, Borko. They've got that Curse of Avernus. He's been slowed up. He is probably just dead. He's going to try and run. KJ, Verify committed. Borko's still trying to get out of there. Looks like he's going to be fine. Oh, maybe not. He went for the enchant. It'll be enough. KJ could actually just stick around here onto Borko and not let him go past. I've seen that happen before, and the creeps, they don't actually aggro towards you unless they need their tier 1 tower. So KJ can literally just block Borko this whole laning phase and leave Lions by himself on the gyro if he really wants to.
Yeah, and
That will not be the case.
the tri-lane's already off to a good start. They do start to split up, so the Abaddon does TP away, but Borko's already off to a slow start. Stuck at level 1. That's a lot of EXP for Lies, though. And this is at least a little bit of a boon here. Lies is finding his last hits. He's finding his farm. He's finding his EXP. So you're going to hit a good timing on the gyro. Still gives us a chance to look around as that lane should hold steady up, down, mid. You do have DNM on Leshrac up against 4DR on the Monkey King. And we are seeing 4DR work this lane well. He's getting the initial farm. DNM did go for the Lightning Storm Split Earth. There's some potential there to maybe outplay the Monkey, try to push out the wave, but every single time 4DR comes up for the right clicks, he can just kind of rip through if you're not careful. So a bit of a back and forth lane. Once DNM hits level 3, it should be more steady, but he's not quite slowing down 4DR at the point you'd want here.
Costabile, of course, top lane as well on the morph, along with KJ. Gonna get salved up, because Costabile wanting to hit that level 3 mark ASAP. Got Monster and Aikster there up against him, and Aikster gonna cop the Curse of Averna Silence. Monster also not connecting the Swashbuckle. So far, everything looking pretty smooth for both sides. It is very early. I still think KJ is going to have a very nice time with this Abaddon as well, right? Like, you could just see him walking up and getting the Curse of Avernus off every time. It's 2 melee heroes in this offlane, so it's kind of tough to get away from the Abaddon if he wants the curse on you.
Yeah, you can't really do too much as long as KJ throws his body forward. There's not much you can do to stop that. You also have this combination that we didn't mention, but when you have Morphling Abaddon, the value you get from Mist Coil Heal is huge because you shift into full Agi. When you're low, you come up, you get the heal off, and suddenly that's worth a lot more in terms of percent HP. So you can easily bring Costabile back to full if you do want to go for that investment in the Mist Coil down the line. And that can just make it so much harder. And of course, Aphotic Shield is such a strong laning spell in terms of preventing that kill from coming out and getting a purge off as well if you need it. So a lot of options there for SG Esports to run this. And 5ManMidas, they are at least finding EXP. Level 2 on Monster, level 2 on Aikster is a lot easier to play around with. They've got the Remnant and the Pulse on Aikster as well. So there's some options there in terms of getting some damage off, but so far it is a slower time for them. And they're not really slowing down Costabile as much, although...
Well, they get the Aether Remnant, Swashbuckle there, but he's just trying to get to that level 3, and now he has it, so he feels a lot safer on that Morphling. KJ, I mean, once he hits level 2, Mist Coil up, he'll be able to heal him up a little bit on the Morph. Bot lane, Thealacor was dropping quite low, and that's to be expected up against Still Borko on the Enchantress. Very, very hard to lane against the Enchantress no matter who you are. Still Borko even going to come back in and cancel the salve of Thealacor. It's being as annoying as humanly possible on this Enchantress.
Yeah, just preventing them from getting too much value here on either side. You are still getting that solid build-up on Tavo. I mean, it is an Underlord, so he can keep steady with the pace of Lies. But I think it's down to the presence of Steel Borko. Like, he went for Enchant. He does get a nice creep for himself now. So you can start applying more harassment out with the Tormentor. The added regen is always a big boon as well, considering that Tavo is just going to try to burn out Lies with those constant Firestorm. So you have more sustain here. You can hold steady, but this is the time for the supports to look down mid. And Thealacor is making his way out for the power runes.
Yep, 4-minute timer is coming in. And it is bot. Invis Rune is there. It'll all be about denying the bottle fill up away for DNM. Top lane. KJ does end up dying in the end. Costabile now going to be in danger as well. He's going to survive. Or maybe Aether Remnant does not latch on. You know what? Things are going decently here for Monster. 20 and 5 in terms of the Pango. Gets the pull off there from Aikster. Not too bad for 5MM so far in this offlane.
Yeah, it's not a bad result at all, and a bit of inefficiency from Costabile. He did get salved while he was strength shift gaining, shifting back to Agi, so he wasn't gaining too much HP back, which is unfortunate, but he is healed up. He has his Morbid Mask early in lane, along with a Wraith Band, so Costabile has more sustain coming out, and that should lead to him having an easier time finding that farm. And you can see KJ with a top-up, with a reset from dying. Just comes up, harasses out Aikster. They grab the bounties down up top, and they should be able to find bot bounties as well. So looking like a 4-for-0 start in the first set of bounties spawning up. And that's never good news. But Lies, he does grab one out, so at least you don't lose all of them. Still not the ideal situation here for 5ManMidas. That does mean DNM doesn't get bottle refill once more.
Very unfortunate stuff for DNM. Actually going into the jungle for a little bit. Obviously the laning can be quite difficult into the Monkey King. Top lane, Costabile being harassed out quite a bit once again by Aikster and Monster. Aphotic Shield going to come in from KJ. Surprised that KJ didn't actually go for that level 1 Mist Coil yet. And I realize he's only level 2, but it does feel like there's a lot of value in giving that Morph that Mist Coil. Maybe at level 3 he opts to get it.
Yeah, I could easily see a 1-1-1 build sort of working out here, just to get themselves that. And you can see the regen again taken by Liquor. No refills at all for DNM. This is not a good time mid. And we've seen that really dictate, although KJ...
It looks like he's going to be fine. He went for the level 2 shield now. Doesn't use it, though. I mean, if you're going to skill up the shield, you've got to use it. And it looks like Costabile's had enough of this top lane. He's like, screw it, I'll go mid. DNM's been shut down quite a bit on the Leshrac. He may as well take the easier lane now. Meanwhile, bot lane, a call down has been committed, but 4DR is around and he will make the jump in on the gyro. They've got DNM with a great split earth onto 3 heroes. And looks like they might just get Lies out. No, he will die in the end, but 4DR is going to be in trouble. Liquor also drops. DNM finally getting some revenge on that pesky Shadow Shaman. And KJ is going to try and run away with the Aphotic Shield. Axa can try for an Aether Remnant very soon, but he might just get the Resonant Pulse instead. That's a great team fight for 5ManMidas.
Yeah, timely rotations out. They find the punishment on SG Esports. They still lose out on Lies, so I think you're not feeling as happy as you would be. But overall, you find the kills you need, and you are starting to set up for yourself. And even Monster gets a good roll-off up top.
That's a nice mischief dodge, though. At least avoiding the damage there from Monster. Liquor is not going to be so lucky, however. He's definitely in danger, and he's gone. And even 4DR, he's still there. The homing missile was chasing him down, so Lies with the rocket barrage will try a bit further. But it looks like that's about it. They aren't going to dive the tier 2, of course. 4DR will survive, but you're still going to be happy with killing off Liquor, and now it's a 6-1, the way of 5ManMidas.
Yeah, they're hitting their timings really well, just playing around while they're strong. They've got early magic damage coming through, they've got early team fight coming through, and they are setting up for themselves. So this is good news for 5ManMidas. They do manage to take that top tier 1 as well. So they're getting their own push off. SG, we're trying to shove in that bot, but it's not as quick. They don't have natural tower hitters beyond, say, Costabile on the Morphin just hitting the towers away, and he's not going to be looking to do that, just wanting that steady farm. You are getting space out for that morph down mid, so that's the silver lining here for SG. Costabile is just on top of last hits right now. They are still trying bot, though.
Tavo's been slowed up by the enchant. They've got an ensnare in 8 seconds. It's like Tavo's going to be safe. He's got the help of Liquor around, but Monster going to commit the Rolling Thunder into the Underlord. He's going to try and juke it out, but it actually works against him now as he has a way to bounce off the walls, and Tavo is going to end up going down. 5MM. Once again, getting a nice kill for themselves, and well, so far for SG Esports, they're not looking like they're even in this game yet.
Yeah, they're taking the back seat. There's a lot more for 5ManMidas to play with early on, and they are actually buying good space out for Lies to farm up as well. So it's all looking good here for 5ManMidas initially in Costabile.
Costabile caught out. He has the strength morph, and he will be able to get away. Still, Borko going to come in from the side, but has no instant way of dealing any damage to Costabile. I mean, the Morphling can just morph Agi and get himself out. They are going to commit towards this tier 1 mid. This is prior to the siege creep coming up at that 10-minute mark, so it's a bit unfortunate here in terms of timing, but they are still getting some nice damage up.
Oh, Costabile?
Oh, Costabile!
What?
They didn't go for him. They didn't realize he was Agimorphing.
Oh.
Big missed opportunity there from 5ManMidas. DNM is still going to come in with the Diabolic Edict now. The Rolling Thunder is going to be committed onto KJ. They want any kill they can get, and they got the Monkey King out of the tree line. 4DR, they know he's there. But he's going to jump in the tree again, and he'll be just fine to Primal Spring out. Doing an 8-1 now. SG Esports, only 1 kill on the board. I realize this draft does take a little bit longer to get online, but I can't say I was expecting this opening for this game too.
Yeah, 5ManMidas are just playing a lot better here, hitting their spikes, hitting their timings, playing around while they're strong, and taking objectives early. Tier 1 gone, top, and mid means that the jungle is now opened up. They can punish this dual farming cores that SG Esports has. SG Esports, for their part, need to take the back seat here to get some EXP. They do have wards up at last from TL Core. So they can start eyeing down mid to even out that map control, and should be relatively straightforward. It's already fairly low.
They get the fort out. It's T1 Town. They might be able to get denial. Clearing out the Serpent wards. Looks like they will make it. A nice deny there from Still Borko. It's down towards the bot lane now, where they did see Thea Lacour underneath an Observer ward for a second. He will have 40R around, but 40R doesn't really have any items to play with, and they caught him out. That'll be Thea Lacour dying on the Shaman. Monster will take it on the Pango. Now they officially have a 2k net worth lead on 5ManMidas.
Yeah, it's on the up and up here for 5ManMidas. Again, while they're forcing these fights, Lies is just farming that jungle, building up stacks for himself, is rushing the Ags build up first. So he's going to have a big spike once that's up in Costabile.
He's fine, he's just strength morphing. They can't kill him yet. Unless he messes up, they can't kill him.
Yeah. Tricky. But they are applying that pressure, so Costabile can't just sit back and farm. His lane is just constantly rotated on. He doesn't have any free areas to farm up in. The top jungle's fairly open, but there is a nice forward warder to spot out, although...
It's an Aether Remnant. That's going to be it. Thea Lacour maybe runs into DNM on the left track.
I don't
Smoke
know
up
about
from
this build-up on SG. Like, the BKB rush for 40R is going to be big. That does mean he doesn't have initial damage, and that could cost him. If they drop Pierce on the smoke, SG might find himself way too far behind now.
Oh, they found Thea Lacour. The Shaman does not want to be caught like this initially, but he does get caught, and DNM will happily take that kill. DNM currently top of the net worth graph as well at 6.3k, even leading his own gyrocopter. And that's a person we haven't really talked about much at all recently. His Lies has been kind of just missing off the map, farming up that Aghanim Scepter. And he's just about 300 gold off now. So things are going very well for 5ManMidas in terms of every aspect. Nothing's really going poorly.
Yeah, they're finding the farm, they're finding the objectives, finding the kills. They're going to hit a major spike once that Ags is up on Lies. And SG aren't in a position to contest. They just need to sit back, trying to build this farm up. Again, we're looking at a BKB first item here for 40R, which takes out a lot of the damage initially on the Gyro, on the Void Spirit, and on the Leshrac. The issue is you're going early BKB, so your charges will tick down in this game fast. You don't have great damage output with this kind of rush, and now you have to contend with the Ags up on Lies. So whenever Lies shows up to the fight, it's going to be very hard to contest now, and they're not going to have a good time with the Gyrocopter having this good of a free start. They do have the Yasha up in Costabile. He is trying to save up into the Manta, but that is slow going. Like, he's just forced to play down bot instead as the top jungle's taken over by the other cores. And even KJ, we're at 14.5 minutes in. He still does not have level 6 on the Abaddon. That is such a bad start.
Roshan now happening as well. 5ManMidas just going and taking everything off the map from SG Esports. With the first Aegis of the game going straight to DNM. And I feel very secure now for DNM having that secondary life. Essentially just a free reset in the middle of a team fight. Looks like 40R going to scout out Still Borko coming into their jungle. Few D-wards to come out. It's just not safe to make the jump in though, because they know the rest of the team is around him. And he may even spot him. They're going to go onto Lies instead. He does not have an Aegis on the Gyro, but they can't kill him. Eggstar going to chase down 40R. The Serpent wards have been cleared out. Lies. He's just fine. Just a bit too tanky with that Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, it's down to this build-up. And all 40R has for additional damage is like the Orb of Corrosion. And that's just not enough. The BKB is kind of close. He's recipe away, but he's not farming up. All the farm now is just going on to Costabile. He's just clearing out the bot wave by himself, but they could easily look at the tier 2s now on the side of 5ManMidas. They can melt this top tier 2. They've got the Edict up. Very easy pushes coming through, and SG, they're going to have to play very carefully for that defense.
He jumped right into the Aether Remnant. 40R Oh, he's getting chased down by only Aegstar. Aegstar may have gone a bit too far into this tree line, but he's actually doing some decent damage on the Void Spirit, and this is a support Void Spirit of all things. But now he's been caught out, and he'll realize he made a bit of an error there. Does end up dying, giving a kill over to 4DR, and that will actually be the first kill for the Monkey King.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Costabile ends up dying down a bot lane. Lies and DNM and Monster end up securing the kill into the Morphling. And things continue to go from bad to worse for the side of SG Esports.
Yeah, they're dropping way too much here. 4K lead up for 5ManMidas. They're finding all the objectives. They're getting the rotations out. And even Teolikor, he can't even just go for D-wards anymore.
Oh, Theo. Can't even TP away. 5ManMidas just so far ahead now. 4K net worth. And this SG Esports draft, it looked alright to begin with, but with being this far behind up against the Gyrocopter, it's looking very painful.
Yeah, it really is. And they need to keep farming. That's the issue with this draft. Like, they just, the only way they come in is with farm. So 40R needs to finish this BKB we've been watching for at least 7 minutes now. They need to get this Manta style up in Costabile, and even then that's not going to be enough. We're going to need to see more items flying in, and the map is way too shrunk down. Like 5ManMidas knows, as long as they take these objectives, SG Esports will not have the room, will not have the time to build that farm up anymore.
It's hard to see what SG can do. I mean, you've already kind of said it. It's just farm. Costabile now queuing up the shotgun build on the Morph. I don't even know if that's going to be enough. It feels like you might want to go for something a little bit different here and just morph into the Gyro and take Flat Cannon, but I don't know what you do. Just got to buy more time for SG. 5ManMidas just having the freest game of their lives for now. There's your Atos on Tavo. Maybe they go for a smoke with this Rod of Atos up.
They could try if they wanted to. It's a bit risky. The rest of the team's just not ready for these bigger engagements. They just want to find steady farm. They do have the wards up, and it looks like Teolikor is looking down bot to just clear out that bot tier 2 to even out map control. Is down to 150 HP, so they might not need to commit the wards, but the creep wave does get cleared out really fast by monsters, so you might not have enough in the tank to even get that objective out.
Monster's just clearing the creep wave over and over again, but the tier 2 bot tower is very low. Glyph is forced out. Yeah, that was a my bad from Still Borko. And now Costabile right in, but this is not where he wants to be. Oh, 4DR, he's going to get the Wukong's command off. Is it going to be enough? DNM is just melting them. They do get the Aegis. They might even get Still Borko, but the taxi has already started. Can they take down the Unlord? No. Tavo gets them out. That could have been a lot worse than what it should have been. And 5ManMidas, they still come out on top.
Yeah, they only dropped the Aegis. It only had, what, about 10 seconds left on it anyway, so they get full value from the Aegis there in 5ManMidas. And SG Esports, and the BKB is making a difference here. 4DR can stand, uses Wukongs effectively, but there's just not enough damage to follow up, especially when you lose Costabile, so they need to find a way to protect that Morphling. And if they don't, then Costabile is just a walking gold drain. They need to plug that hole in. You get Costabile's farm steadily building up. He's still saving up for that shotgun. I'd say at this point, because your Monkey King went BKB, honestly, a BKB and a Morphling doesn't sound too bad. At least your BKB timings line up. You can keep forcing these fights in the middle, and you can ignore the Leshrax's damage. That could be one approach, but going all in the shotgun means that 4DR, with the only BKB on his team, he's the only one who can stand and fight fast. They do smoke up, but they don't have Wukongs, and I suppose 4DR will still try to walk in there.
It seems kind of like a desperate smoke from SG Esports. Just feeling like they need something. It's going to lead to nothing for now. The only one on the map was still Borko, and he was only there for a second. They will kind of reveal themselves with this Firestorm. seems as though 5ManMidas are well aware that they are smoked, and they just continue to just hang out in this triangle area. Just continue letting Lies just farm up on the gyrocopter. There's no reason not to. He's almost got the Chrysalis up now into a Daedalus. So once that's up, he's going to be hitting very hard, and even DNM now. The Kaya and Sanj up on the Leshrac, and it's time for them to smoke.
Just a lot of item timings here on 5ManMidas. Even the Yule's up on Ikester means that he can solo set up for himself. SG has to be careful. They do have Wukongs if they find a right angle, but they're kind of split up.
Arvo, homing missile is going to follow him down. Rolling Thunder is there with the blink in from Monster. They want the Underlord immediately, and they will get him. KJ now just dying so quick on the Abaddon. That'll be the tier 2 mid tower going down for free here for 5ManMidas. Yule's up, they've caught the Morphling as well. Costa Bile just melting to the damage up from Monster and DNM. And that'll be the tier 2 mid tower dying. And for 5ManMidas, they could still go high ground. The Morph's down without buyback, and they know how far ahead they are.
Yeah, I mean, there's some decent high ground defense from SG, especially once the Underlord's back up. So I think they do play it cautious. They play it safe. Might look at that bot tier 1 easily melts to DNM at this point, and that might just be the play. So they're shutting out the map completely. 18-3, SG Esports, after a really good game 1, are just looking shaky. These item timings aren't lining up. I mean, 4DR with a BKB can do work, but it's only him. And I really think that's the issue. Like, 4DR wants to fight with the BKB, but Costa Bile says, no, I want to farm and get the shotgun. And even when that shotgun comes out, look at all the HP on Lies. And he's even got his own BKB, so you might not be able to take care of the gyrocopter. Maybe you take care of DNM, but he's also fairly tanky now with 2.1k HP. So you're not finding the instant burst targets on these bigger heroes with a shotgun build-up. And it just doesn't enable Costa Bile to join these fights well.
Top Ikester. Gonna back off in time before 4DR can get initiation in on the monkey. Arvo is there with Costa Bile, Theolacor as well. They just gonna remain grouped up. There is strength in numbers here for SG Esports, but I don't think they can really afford to take a team fight as a 5v5. It's more like if we run into somebody, maybe we could just kill them as 5 heroes. Well, they're going to stick around the Roshan pit to make sure that 5ManMidas can't secure that. But now 5ManMidas with the smoke, it's going to be broken, and 40R sees all of this. Still Borka going to try and run up, but there's your Pit of Malice DNM. Oh, that's a great split earth. It lands on 2. They got 4DR, and they are going to blow them up. Now Monster in the back line is just controlling everyone else with the Rolling Thunder. Tarbo is going to try and get them out with the Dark Rift, and he does get at least the Morphling. But it's another mess for SG Esports. It almost feels like they don't know what to do once they see the enemy. Like, they had a great position, but that hesitation right at the start allowed DNM to just get a great split earth off.
Yeah, and that was just so costly, that bump up coming out from 4DR, and it just ruins them. Now you're going to lose the next Roche. Aegis Cheese available for 5ManMidas. That's going to enable this high ground push for sure. And there's just nothing stopping them. I believe the Daedalus is flying in now as well here for our gyrocopter. So Lies is just going to be hitting like a truck. There's no solution from SG. There just isn't anything to play with. They do have Wukongs plus Pit in the high ground. That can be really nice, but they need to execute a lot better, and it's been falling flat here.
Oh, they've caught Tavo. He doesn't know which way to run right now. He knows they're coming from the north. He'll hang around in the tree line and just stick by that tier 2 tower. It's like DNM's going to back off for a bit as well. Just go back and clear out the bot creep wave. They do really want to try and be quite conservative about the way they play, and it looks like they want to secure both the bottom towers before they go onto the high ground. Which is fair enough. It does give a bit more time for SG to try and catch up on this Morphling. And Costa Bile is getting closer and closer to finishing off that shotgun. But I suppose until then, they're feeling very confident And even with the shotgun up, I mean, you've got a BKB on this gyro. I don't think he's too concerned.
No. Like, the gyro is not going to be the target you can go for. Even DNM is a bit tanky to jump into. You're going to have to find the supports for that. Hope the numbers advantage gives you enough and build off of it. The issue is, once Costabilla throws out the shotgun, he has nothing to protect himself. No BKB, especially in comparison to the tiny M40R, is just hurting them. Bot tier 2 melts, and because it's a Leshrac push, you can easily line up for the next push. No problem, not much downtime. Age is still up, Chi's still there, available. So they can keep going, but at the least you have this D push on SG. So you can see Tavo melting the creep wave, forces them back just a bit. They've got good top wards here though, and they are smoked up as well.
That tier 3 tower not going to last long. Boundless Strike is in. Hex out as well by the Shaman. Tavo with the Pit of Malice now, but the Rolling Thunder is out from Monster. Just look at that backline being stunned up by Monster. And that tier 3 tower is just melting right now to DNM, but they try to blow him up, but no. The shotgun does nothing through the Yules. And that is the shotgun revealed now by Costabile. I mean, they've got to keep trying to defend, but you know that 5ManMidas is just waiting for that next creep wave to go back up high ground with this Diabolic Edict. They'll place a ward. They will pop the Wukong's command. They're going to try, but there's an Aegis on that Leshrac. They'll get through one line. That may force DNM to back off, but there's your call down now. Monster right in, but he doesn't really have the full Rolling Thunder. Or maybe he does. No, it was just the shards. Tavo dropping low. 40 yard, trying to fight back with this BKB. Almost has Lions down, but the cheese is going to be eaten by the gyro, and that'll be enough. And they somehow managed to protect that tier 3 tower. But it looks like 5ManMidas might not be done quite yet. They may go back in.
Yeah, I reckon they go back ASAP after a bit of a reset. They know Wukong's is down. They know wards are down as well. So there's a huge opening where SG Esports does not have their spells. And 5ManMidas can just look to play into that. So have to be careful now for the defense. Without the Wukongs, this fight goes very differently for the side of SG Esports.
They've got to be careful about this Pango Monster. Been on real fire with these Rolling Thunders. Now, tier 3 tower being a real nuisance here towards 5MM, and now they're done. Okay, I think that's a bit early, but again, they just want to play very safe. They don't want to throw this lead away. It is quite a large lead to throw if you did end up losing a big team fight, and you would give away for SG Esports to come back into the game. So you may as well just continue extending this lead and maybe just finish off the Satanic on Lies first.
My path leads to riches.
Yeah, it's just ensuring that there's no bounce back potential here for SG Esports. They are smoked up though. They're trying to dip outside the base, find a kill. There's a good double damage read to take as well. So there's some potential here, but no big targets, and they don't have forward vision to really scout out.
That's going to lead to nothing. I suppose they at least can get a tier 1 top tower, maybe even go for the tier 2 with this double damage on Costabile. Try and force a fight. 5MM, they've smoked up as well. They're going to move up through the dire jungle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire are scanning for
Monster scouting out. Doesn't pop Rolling Thunder yet. Now he's been stunned up with the silence. He might get... Oh no!
No.
What?
No. Oh no.
Oh, Tavo, what have you done? They left Costabile on top.
Oh boy.
That's an ouch.
That is...
That's a whoopsie.
That it is. At the least 40 yards alive, so they've got the Pit of Malice Wukongs to play with. They just don't have the damage of the Morph. Yeah. Now he's been doing that. He's spamming that pit. It's tricky. Like, you need this BKB on Costabile, and it's not coming out fast enough. There's just nowhere to farm, and the push just keeps coming.
Lock him down. Rod of Atos. They get the tier 3 tower. But again, 5ManMidas unwilling to go all the way. Just chipping away at the high ground for now. That'll be enough. Satanic is so close to being finished up here on Lies that I guess it's just kind of worth backing off and finishing it off first. SG Esports, they've been locked in their base for so darn long. They're going to smoke up again and go for a try for another team fight. See if they can make it work. They do run into Aikestar. That'll be a nice way to get it started, and they blow him up immediately. If they find any more, Lies going to be scouted out by 4DR. While that's happening, the bot lane does need to be defended, so Costabile does TP back up as the Morph. So they get a Void Spirit kill, which is, you know, really, in hindsight, it's really not that bad considering the circumstances. However, Tavo, nice Dark Rift, is going to probably get him out of this, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, they at least have that bailout on the Underlord. There's a BKB now as well here for Tavo, so he can play forward a lot better. I think once you get this BKB into Morphling, you can start to look at SG to maybe try and make some plays. It is fairly close, all things considered here for Costabile. So just a little bit more patience for SG Esports. The gap is so wide though. 21k net worth lead coming out for 5ManMidas. 22-4. They've been stuck in the high ground, as you mentioned, just not able to farm their own jungle, not able to find anything just yet. And SG are just starved. They don't even have their full drops of tier 3 items. It's just not there. They can't farm neutrals at all to get these items up.
They can't do anything. They're just stuck in their base. No real area for them to go. I mean, I guess our Enchantress still Borko's being nice by sending enchanted creeps into the base, giving them an extra little bit of gold. It's gonna feel quite nice. Tavo hasn't hit a creep in quite a bit of time now. They are having to give everything away to Costabile. I wonder at what point 5ManMidas feel like they can guarantee just go high ground and finish off this game. So it feels like it's almost guaranteed here for 5ManMidas, but you know what? Dota Plus disagrees with that. 10% is still there for SG Esports, regardless of how high the net worth is the way of the Radiant.
Yeah, I think it's just respecting the power of Morphling, the power of Monkey King scaling into late game. There is a bit of a spike on 5ManMidas' draft. You know, if they hang around too long, if they take it too slow, DNM loses a lot of his potency on the Lush. Like, all he becomes is a tower pusher, and right now he's doing a lot of damage, but the BKBs are finally up. Costabile has his as well, so he should be able to last through these fights, and that could be the turning point for SG Esports if they get the proper team fight off.
Roshan's up again. Monster, he sees Tavo. Jules is there into the Rolling Thunder, trying to make sure he can't Dark Rift away, and Tavo, he won't have time now. Lies just shreds him. Pumps him full of bullets. Now the Roshan is going to be easily taken by 5ManMidas. I'd say SG Esports need to fight this, but I don't think they can. I think they just have to kind of let it be.
Yeah, they can't go out without the Underlord to bail them out. They need Tavo up with the Pit of Malice to really set up, to maximize the Wukongs. So that's going to be Aegis, Cheese, and the Ags upgrade coming out here for the side of 5ManMidas, and that does mean they've got a lot more to play with here as well. Just a very big spike for them. And did he pick up the...
I believe Lies picked up the Aghanim's Blessing. So he still has the normal Ags there as well, unless I'm wrong. I don't see it on anyone else. I'm pretty sure Lies got the Aghanim's Blessing on the Gyrocopter. So he's got double Ags now, just in case the first one doesn't work.
Fair. And at the least, you also have the Ags up in Monkey, so this defense can work to their favor if they find
Hex out. They've got the Gyro. He's got an Aegis, but they might burst it, and they do. Still a nice Rolling Thunder there from Monster, holding everyone else down. They will lose one already in the form of Theolacor. He doesn't have buyback. 40R going to try and buy back, but the Gyrocopter is hitting a little bit too hard. But they lost the Aegis, so they're going to back off again. Aikestar Onto 4DR, balance strike out. DNM going to try and just run in with the Pulse Nova. Dark Rift already being committed here from Tavo, but Tavo might die before he gets off. No. He gets it in time, but 4DR is down on the Monkey. And he also doesn't have buyback.
Yeah, this is a difficult one now. No Wukongs for defense. BKBs are back up though, so they can try again, but it's just difficult without the Monkey King.
Tavo doesn't have an escape route this time. Meanwhile, Costabile trying to fight with his own flak cannon, but the damage just isn't there. Or maybe it is. DNM getting hexed up, does end up dying now. Still, they got 2 Raxes. DNM's brought back, so they want to commit for the 3rd. This is their prime opportunity. They've still got 2 heroes down with that buyback. It is definitely time to go.
Yeah, they've got a huge window here for 5ManMidas, and there's just not enough damage. You see Costabile stand in front. He just doesn't do enough.
Theolacore, nice hex out. They've got the gyrocopter there, but the shotgun is not enough damage. Costabile is going to die. KJ, well, he pops the borrowed time, but it's not really going to matter. It's about that time to call on, I think, for SG. They're going to buy back on their Abaddon. They're being found to dive now. DNM just going to jump right in onto the MK. He doesn't want to tie back. And Costabile does now buy back. They've got the gyro in the shackle. Hex out as well in the Wukong's command. Maybe they can kill him. But no, lies. Shotgun should be enough. Surely Costabile does get him. Now the flak cannon looking to turn it back around. DNM, he'll eat the cheese. SG Esports are looking to hold this and continue to play up against Megas. 4DR, the move in. Oh, he's gone. Theolacore, he's been playing really on point. Hex and Shackles again out onto DNM, going to ensure they get the Leshrac. And that's a tieback on TNM.
Oh boy. I mean, they got Megas, so I think overall you're still happy with 5ManMidas, but they have blown a couple of kills. That gives some possibilities for the side of SG Esports. It does give a lot of money towards Costabile. He's just saving up for the Divine. He knows they need to go all in here, go for Divine, turn into the gyrocopter and get a flak for your own and get the damage off. That's the way to play now. So if they actually do get that build up, they can start to play with it, but they catch Steal Barcode, there's just no follow-up.
It's going to be a slow process, but now the Costabile is here. He'll do that. Be a nice easy kill now, and he's got the Divine Rapier queued up in this Morphling. With the flak cannon, he can make a comeback, assuming he gets the Divine up.
Yeah, it's the only way. It's the only way, and he knows there's no other way to itemize to counteract this. There's just no way you're going to stall this game out for 20 more minutes to get any additional item buildups. It needs to be something that works now, and he's kind of building up into it. Like, he wants that Sacred Relic first, of course, so just going to have to find that gold. They do at least have 40R back up, and you are seeing moments here where they can catch 5ManMidas off. So if they build up enough on Costabile, it can turn. They just need to stall out for this Divine. And they're going to have to stall out a bit longer as only the Relic is up.
It seems like a lot of this comeback is due to Theolacore. Every time you see a core being picked off on the side of 5ManMidas, they've either been hexed or shackled by Theo. But I think we can really credit the Shaman for this game continuing here for SG. And again, this game is quite important because they are looking to get any win they can. Monster will secure the bounty rune. Might have to Rolling Thunder away, but no, he'll go for the greedy way out and just swashbuckle. On the bright side, 4DR does get himself a double damage rune now. But it'll probably just be used to farm anyway.
Yeah, and I think 5ManMidas at this point, knowing that they've dropped a couple of kills, have maybe given a road back for SG, are just going to maybe wait for that next Aegis. Like, the Roshan is not too far off, 2.5 minutes until we see when it respawns. So they can easily just take your time here, although
4DR, he's going to be fine. For now. It's only a cooldown, but Aikster, he's going to jump right back in. So they wanted to fight, it seems, and now Lions just catches him out. But he'll have the buyback. KJ, caught by the Yules. 4DR now going to commit that buyback. They've also caught out Costabile, but the back is there. Aikster's actually jumped right in. again, I think a bit of miscommunication there from 5MM. Just not on the same page. Even Monster now being chased down by 4DR. DNM will miss the split earth. Costabile clearing out the creep wave with the flak cannon. Homing missile going to be taken care of anyways. They send another one back the way of Lies. Another homing missile now. Costabile gonna...
Never ends.
It never... It's just an endless cycle. But eventually it does end. And you know, John, I had a quick sneak peek at Dota Plus, and it is sitting at 99% regardless of what SG Esports is doing. I have a feeling that might turn once this Divine Rapier's up. Not by much, but it may turn a little bit. Assuming Costabile can get it finished in time.
I mean, it's close now, right? He's only 800 gold off. That's not too much. He just needs to be careful.
Rolling Thunder. He's not strength morphing, but he gets the BKB off. That'll be enough.
These BKBs are starting to tick down as well. Down to 7 seconds here for Costabile. We are down to 6 seconds as well on the side of 4DR. So you're not getting as much uptime in the middle. That does mean there's a way for DNM to still lay his damage on, as there's really not much left on SG. So they've got to be cautious with when they pop these BKBs and just keep stalling out. They're stalling out well. We're going to find out when the Roche respawns in about 20 seconds. And 5ManMidas are just waiting for that. They just need a Roshan. It's going to have Aegis, Cheese, Refresh, and Ags. Should be the full complement at that point. So hopefully then Lies gives the Ags to someone else. Shouldn't be able to pick it up anymore in Grief. And maybe give someone else a good time. But there's that Divine. So hey, Costabile hits like a truck. We just have to see if this is indeed enough.
Find out very soon. 5ManMidas, I don't think they need to be waiting too much longer, but they might hesitate once they see that Divine up. Is even with the without the Divine, it's some of these team fights have been a little bit too close for comfort. They may as well just wait for DNM to have a buyback back up as well. He doesn't have any gold for it right now as he's trying to get the Shivers up, and it is on the way. They're just going to continue controlling the map. I mean, they've got all the farm their way. There is zero rush. The net worth gap is only going to increase as the time goes on.
Yeah, it's just steady. Just holding steady here in 5ManMidas. This could be the first win. I think there's a lot of nerves about that as well, right? Like, could be their first win. They don't want to give any opening, so that's why they're playing a bit more conservatively. They just don't want to take any losses here, and they just wait it out. Again, they still have control on the map. They're finding basically everything that they can. There are some key timings to look out for here. Teal'c is close to his own BKB. By close, I mean 1,200 gold away. So still a ways to go, but once that's up in the Shadow Shaman, then you mentioned it. Teal'c really has been setting up for his team. Just having that BKB allows him to pin one hero down forever with his shackles. And that can make all the difference. So have to watch some of that bounce back potential here on SG's side. They are just also, you know, playing their best, and they're holding out. They're about to hit their own spike soon. And once you hit Morphling 25, I think the waveform attack is also going to be very potent once you have 2 charges on top. So Costabile is going to have more ways to weave in and out of those fights as well.
Looks like 5ManMidas just waiting for that next Roshan, which is up in 4 seconds. So they'll have first dibs on that Roshan. Couriers are there to scout it out, and DNM right around the corner. Even has an Arcane Rune active, so gets the Diabolic Edict to pop. Should be a very fast Roshan here. And SG Esports, as much as they would love to contest this, they will not have time even if they want to. So another Aegis, another Refresh Shard. Who's getting what? DNM takes the Ags. Cheese is on Lies. Aegis is on DNM. And the Refresher Shard is currently just sitting on Still Borka.
Yeah, I think they're just going to pocket that one. Should be interesting to see. I want to see what Nihilism? Guys, a little?
Jump in, Tavo. Gonna be okay. 4DR, early Wukong's command out. Pop the Lincolns on lies. No, they're out. They're done. 5MN.
Huh.
You just saw the Wukong's being committed, so I feel like this is a pretty darn good time, if any. Monster, alright, he's got the Rolling Thunder. He connects on the Morph into Tavo. Now he's just perma-stunning Tavo, but he's going to be able to get out. Homing Missile, there onto Costa Bile. He's been stunned up. Tavo still in danger, is going to be able to walk out. Now we do see Lies just jumping right in with the Flak Cannon. He will be able to get Tavo. 1T4 also down. Costa Bile yet to fight back. Aether Remnant catches him out. He pops his BKB. It's too late.
Costa Bile.
He gets the Flak Cannon, but it does nothing. He calls a GG, and that'll be it. Game number 2 does go the way of 5ManMidas, and they do manage to pick up a win before they do take their exit in the BTS Pro Series. So definitely great news for them. A bit unfortunate for SG Esports to not get the 2-0 victory. But that is how the cookie crumbles this time around.
Yeah, very well played from 5ManMidas, bouncing back in for their last game, finding at least one drawn-out series. SG Esports not going to be climbing up the board too much. An additional draw does bring them up to 1-4, so that does bump them above Infamous, but they're not going to be able to overtake Zoomers. We're going to have to see how SG does in their last few games, but there is one more matchup here today for us. We do have Latin Defenders up against the Cut, and that should be up next, and should be an interesting one as well, Mike.
It should be. I'll just be one moment, Jonas. I'm just trying to fix up some stuff. But yes, next series is coming up. It'll be roughly 15 minutes of a wait time, I believe, before we do get into it. And it's not Latin Defenders. It should be Infamous versing the Cut, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. We had a resched.
I'm just making sure I'm not the wrong one, because I'm the one controlling production, so I don't want to be listing the wrong teams, but I'm pretty sure it should be Infamous up against the Cut. I guess we'll confirm and find out. With that, there's going to be a 15-minute break. It's MLP Dota and JohnXFire, and we'll see you all again very soon for that final series of the night.